All right, as soon as it's okay.
It's only
Go live straight in.
Cubans.
So we're gonna go live straight in, you guys?
Yeah.
As soon
You
as
don't
it's
want to
pink,
mess with the Cubans.
The
it's
Cubanos.
almost. It says waiting
All right.
for the video stream data. So we're gonna go straight in, so we're not gonna do an opening.
Okay.
Is it pink?
Oh.
It's almost, there it is.
No
Are you guys
opening?
ready?
We'll
Mark,
throw it
are
in
you
there.
ready?
Yeah, is my audio good?
Intro, but-
I'm not peeking?
Fix your toupee.
Bring him in. Right on the switcher.
I can see the zipper.
Yeah, so what I'm
That's
gonna do
better.
is, I'm gonna go live and then hit main wide.
You're on main line right now.
Okay, so I'm just gonna hit go live.
And then you're gonna zoom, then you'll say, we got Mark DeCarlo, then you'll zoom him in.
Okay, are you guys ready?
I am always ready.
Okay,
I'm
here
a
we go.
professional. No.
I was born ready.
As a professional.
Good.
Good. Or
Good
frozen.
morning, everybody, again, and welcome to Sway TV. I'm Candace Kita. I'm your host, and
You
with
are.
us today we have Albert L. Ortega.
But I'm not the guest. Our
No.
guest.
Well, actually, do you want to intro our awesome guest today?
I will.
Because
I
you
will.
know
I
him.
will. His name, ladies and germs, is Mark DeCarlo.
Yay, Mark!
Yay.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome.
Are you awake?
There, now I feel much better because fake audience applause at 7 a.m. always makes me feel better.
Don't you have applause every time you get up in the morning?
Yes, but I actually have people here at the house that do it. They're getting a little cranky about it after all these years.
Well,
but,
God, I
you
hope
know,
they're not union.
Job's a job.
So, you guys, we have Mark here super early in the morning because we are coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles. It's 7:24 in the morning. And thanks, Mark, for getting up early with us this morning.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Oh, you're very, very welcome.
Awesome.
Why don't you
I
tell
have
us
to
what's
wake
on
up
your shirt?
eventually, you know. This is Boffo the Bear. It's a new cartoon show that I'm working on.
Ooh.
It's kind of like an Andy Warhol treatment. I got it from my buddy who runs a company called Rager Tees. He makes a lot of really funny T-shirts, which I think are available on Amazon, but I'm not sure. There's so many things available on Amazon.
Everything's available on
Keep
Amazon.
track. Really? Yeah.
Brains. They're going to Amazon brain transplants. They're going to be probably bringing them into the emergency room. Your brain.
Amazon brain, and the brain will get there before you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they'll just throw it over the fence like they do.
Or deliver it with a drone.
There you
Do
go.
you guys get taken? Do you guys get delivered to work in a drone every morning?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, we also
very
get,
uncomfortable.
we get bagels in a drone. Yeah, we get
Very uncomfortable,
we
especially
get
when they wake you up.
cream cheese
Well,
in a drone.
where are we going? Where are we going? Hey, we're going to work.
So tell us about your new show, the one that's on your shirt.
Buffo.
It's a new animation technology where we're able to do animation live to the air. We have a YouTube channel called Boffo the Bear, and we started in the pandemic doing basically a talk show hosted by a cartoon. So
Only in
Boffo, we
Hollywood.
have Boffo. Yeah, exactly. Boffo was out driving a car, interviewing celebrities, doing comedy bits. And it's really taken off, and now we're going to be doing other television shows and projects that I can't talk about yet
Oh,
because I can't talk about them until 8 a.m.
did you say till
So
8 a.m.?
I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
It's a new technology that is really cool. That my partner is, his name is Julian Sarmiento. He's the guy that creates all the character effects and the animation for the Avengers and
Ooh.
Polar Express. And a
Wait,
bunch
did you
of
say
other
Tony
movies.
Anchovy? Is that what his name?
No, that's a guy I used to play softball with.
Oh,
I thought you said,
Yeah.
hey, my friend Tony Anchovy. I'm like, who's that? What a great
Julian
name.
Sarmiento, which sounds sort of like pimento, but it is not. He is Colombian, not Italian.
Ah.
so Diego says good morning to you. Good morning, Diego. And with us today we have Mark DeCarlo. And so you guys, if you want to engage him in chat, please do. He can answer questions about his new projects. Leave a comment. Say hi to us this morning. We'd love to hear what you're doing. Diego said good morning. So I didn't quite understand. So it's a cartoon, but it also incorporates live action.
You ever see the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Absolutely.
So
love Roger
it looks just like that, but where it took 6 weeks to make 1 second of Roger Rabbit movie. Ours is instantaneous to the web. We do.
Who doesn't love Roger Rabbit? I love Roger Rabbit. He's great. Go ahead, Mark.
It's pretty cool. So I wear a special suit and I stand next to people and I can touch them and talk to them. And during the pandemic, we started doing this show on our YouTube channel. So I would do what you guys are doing. I'd Zoom somebody and Bafo would be there and I'd be talking to the person. And we did some funny stuff. We had a bunch of.
So you're wrapped up in like in a green suit, something like that?
No, it's a different technology. I wear, basically the way to explain it is little GPS dots, right?
Oh,
I have my body on my head. A computer looks at me, knows where everything is, and a scanner scans my face. So as I talk, the bear's face is moving. Let me show you. What he looks like.
And you supply the voice as well.
I do.
So you give us a little bit of Bafo. So
There's Bob right there.
look, he's in the National Choir.
Yeah, he's had a rough life. People are always trying to get him. It's not even fair. So that's what Bafo looks like.
Oh my goodness! You actually just reminded me. I was supposed to tell you that David
Or he looks like
Nussbaum,
this.
David Nussbaum Nuzzy from Portal Hologram says hello to you as well.
I love David Nussbaum. That guy is genius. We did a thing at Comic-Con, not last year, which is 2 years ago now, because I don't know if you've heard, but there's been this really weird pandemic. So
Yeah,
I heard about it.
I don't know if it's a rumor.
it's in
though.
all the papers.
The papers.
David Nussbaum runs a company called Portal, Portl, and there are boxes where people appear in the boxes as if they're right there. They could be on the other side of the world, and they can talk and converse with people. You should have them on your show. But
I think he had a box like that at the Saturn Awards.
Yes, that was
Yes.
the box.
That was him? Okay,
I was
that's him.
there.
Okay.
Did I see you at the Saturn Awards? I was there. I was
Sadly,
there with
no.
Nuzzy, actually.
I probably was running around. I did not know you were there. I would have said hi.
Yeah.
Or I said, get out of here.
Right.
Somebody
You're
check
in
this
my
guy's
shot.
ticket. Get out of my shot, you and your bear.
You guys
What is
tell us-
Nussbaum doing awake at this hour? Well, he's got kids. He's got little
Yeah,
kids.
he's got kids, but he's actually not awake. But he's a partner of my partner, and that's where they would house the hologram box. And
Yes.
and so I guess for some reason they knew that you knew David, and so he said to say hello to you.
I have a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend.
friend of a friend.
Remember
Yeah.
friends?
Right. Partner now is such a loaded word. You don't know if someone means romantic partner, business partner, tennis partner.
Isn't that the
It's
truth?
an inexact word. It's an inexact word.
It's very confusing, and but people say partner. They don't know if I'm a member of the LGBTQ community or if it's a business partner or my partner. We're just too old to say that we've been together forever but never got married, and that's what it is.
How does your mom feel about that?
She
When are you gonna
always
get
wants
married?
everybody to get married.
Yeah.
She always wants everybody.
How long have you been together?
Well, we've known each other since 1993.
Wow.
How long have you been romantically together?
10 years.
Mm,
So what do you think
It's
about
time,
that?
right?
No.
I think it's time.
Tell-
I think it's time.
Tell us the
What's the
story
point?
about
What's the point?
I,
What's
well,
the point?
I don't know.
You know-
that you met your.
No. We're on you, Candace. Hold on.
No. This is the.
Hey,
for you. We're going to be talking to you.
I want to get this out of the way real quick. How many people remember Studs? Remember Studs?
Okay, now this is the thing. I remember
Studs.
Studs when I lived back in Texas, but you said it was a game show, and I say it's a dating show.
It's like both, isn't it?
You're right, Candace. It was a comedy. It was a dating show. It was a comedy show about dating, is how I always describe
Okay.
it.
But did it have contestants on it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we had 2 boys and 3 girls on every show, and then they would go out on dates, and then they would come on the show, and funny stuff would happen, and they were trying to win a trip somewhere. So
Did y'all set up
technically, it was a
people
game
that
show.
didn't get along on purpose?
Nothing on purpose. No, it was unlike the reality shows of today. Our show was actually real. They would really go on the dates.
Oh,
Then our producers would interview them afterwards and find out what happened, and we would help them write funny little quotes. Like if you went on a date with a guy and he turned out he was a big hairy Italian guy, he would say, "Oh, he showed up at my door, and I see this big hairy Italian guy." We would write, "Oh, King Kong showed up at my door."
King
and then
Kong.
they would have to guess
Hey, a
who
King
said
of
what.
Kong.
So it was intentionally funny, but the people were funny. And then what happened on the show, we didn't let them see each other between the time that they went on their date and they came on the show. So it was all improvised. It was all real emotions. And I'm sure you know now, reality TV is all,
That's the ironic thing is that, they call it reality TV, but it's not reality. It's totally scripted. It's all made up. It's so, it's so not real. It's just like, on this reality show. And it's all.
But you know what is real?
What's that?
A 10-year relationship, Candace. I think.
Now you better watch out, Mark. I'm going to talk about you meeting your wife and everything, because I heard such a beautiful, wonderful story about that.
I told her the story.
Beautiful, wonderful story.
We could talk about that, but I put a ring on it.
Yes, right. He did put a ring on it.
How long did it take you before you put a ring on it? And how did you know she was the one you're sitting on the airplane with her?
Because she's
Cuban. She forced me. I was doing a show for the Travel Channel at the time, so I was in one of my favorite cities in the world, New Orleans, Louisiana, and I was coming back to Los Angeles, and I see this
Be careful.
hot girl standing around in the gate at Louis Armstrong Airport. And I started talking to her, and then I arranged to have her sit next to me on the airplane, and then we started.
You did that? I didn't know any of that.
I didn't know.
What, you went to the gate and you said, I want to switch?
I'm standing in the gate, and I see this hot girl.
Well, describe her. What did she look like to you?
She was wearing a blue dress, a short little blue dress, and she had just, unbeknownst to me, she had just come back from a French Quarter wedding by herself because she had broken up with her boyfriend, but she said, screw it, I'm still going to this wedding.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's not that difficult to pick up a girl after she's been to a wedding by herself. I mean, if you want to make a list of easy pickings. So we chat on the plane, and she was 3 or 4 rows behind, reluctantly, because he was a jerk.
Well, he knew that she was.
I didn't know that at the time. I'm sitting in the aisle. There's this idiot in the middle seat, and then a regular guy on the window. So I lean over to the guy in the middle seat, and I say, "You see that dark-haired girl back there?" He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I was talking to her. Tell you what, switch seats with her. You can go from your middle seat to an aisle seat, which is where she was sitting. Switch." And he's like, "Oh, but I already put my bag up on top." I'm like, "Yeah, well, it'll be there when we get to LA. Don't worry about it." He wouldn't change seats with me.
What a jerk.
Oh, no.
Doesn't he know romance?
He wanted to talk
That's
to
what
her.
I said to him. So then I'm like, are you effing serious? And then the window guy goes, "I'll move." And I said, "Thank you, sir."
Aww.
So the window guy moves. He goes back. I wave. She starts coming up. I turn around. He's still sitting in the middle seat. So I leaned into him and I said, "Move!" So then he moves to the window. She sat next to me. I opened the charm spigot, and
it all
she
came.
had no chance.
Now, did you know that she was the one right away, or no?
No. We started date. She actually blew me off for our first date. But then we started going out, and I was always a serial monogamist. I would date someone until I knew I didn't want to marry him, and then I'd break up with them.
For how long was the longest?
The longest one that I didn't marry?
Yes.
Maybe 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Maybe
And then
a year
you
and a
realized. Yeah.
I remember when you guys first started dating, Yenny told me, she goes, "I have a boyfriend." I go, like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, I met him at the airport." She was really excited. I go, "Who is it? Who is it? Can you tell me?" And she goes, "Mark DeCarlo." And my reaction was, "The guy from Studs?" That was my initial reaction. She goes, "Yeah." And I remember your quirky little smile, your little, that kind of, bet as you want. But
my Pepe Le Pew smile.
Yeah, you have you have that certain kind of like little sinister grin. And
I have a big head and a big face. That's the issue, which is why I'm good for cartoons, because I have a very big rubbery face. So we started dating, and everything was cool. And after a while, you're like, well, it's not going to get any better. I'm not going to do any better than that. So
you popped the.
We got married.
How many years before you popped the question, or was it?
How many years? How many weeks?
How many days?
Like 3.
3 years? Yeah.
And did you plan it? Did you go down on bended knee and do the traditional thing, or it's just over lunch? Oh, by the way, I got an appointment scheduled for Tuesday.
Oh, we got engaged down in Florida. At her parents live in Miami or in Hialeah,
Aw.
which as that's where Cubans have to live.
That's the law. It's the law.
It is. Yeah, we went out to dinner and I got down on a knee and I gave her the ring and la la la. And then I went back to my sister-in-law is Mexican, so she had taught me how to ask her dad for her hand in marriage in Spanish. And I had learned
proper thing.
Learned it phonetically, right?
Yeah.
So before this, we're in the house, I'm helping him fix his TV, and I want to get her out of the house so I could ask Miguel, for her hand in marriage. So I go, oh, Yenny, you got to go to Best Buy. We need an HDMI cord because Amazon wouldn't be in play. We needed a meeting. She's like, no, you go. That's your job. I don't want to go. I'm like, why don't you go to the store and get this and come right back? And she's like, no.
Oh,
So I said,
no.
fine. Not going to ask him. So then we got engaged, and then she made me stage the asking of him afterwards
No.
to shoot video of it. So it's fake. It's a fake video. It's
So you had to
bringing our
redo the whole thing
conversation
up again.
full circle. Yeah, it was unreal reality video.
Good, great. So
No, I'm not going. And you can't tell a
Back to
Cuban
you,
what to do.
Candace. 10 years. Why haven't you guys gotten engaged yet?
honestly, he's
He's
not
like
going
a-
to let this go. We're never
he's
going
like
to
a
be
dog with a
able.
bone.
We're never going to be able to talk about you on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But I'll say it really quick. The reason why is because he was married 3 times before.
Oh.
So I think he's over
Okay.
that.
All
Yeah,
right, well, so that's a good reason.
I think so. Maybe not for my mom, but yeah, for
After
him.
10 years, he's still not sure. He's like, I don't know.
So-
She might not be the one.
Wow, I don't know about that. Johnny says good morning to you. Good morning.
Well, Johnny, do you think Candace should get engaged?
Oh no,
After 10
my
years?
gosh.
Right. He should,
Johnny.
on live, bended knee, he should come right now.
Johnny,
Right.
Don,
Well, let me
Johnny.
ask you this, Candace. Would you like to be married at some point in your life?
I don't.
Or do you not care?
I don't
Some
care.
people don't care.
I don't care. No.
All
I know.
girls care.
No.
Hey,
I
I'm
know
going to say
some-
something
I
that's
don't
going to
care.
sound sexist, but isn't. I'm going to say that most women who say, "Oh, I don't care if I get married or not," are not telling the truth.
You know what? I'll
And that they
I'll
really do.
surprise.
They
I'll-
lie.
No. You know what? I'll surprise you guys. I don't know why we're talking about this because we are going to talk about Buffy the
It's
Vampire
interesting.
Slayer. But Buffy the Vampire Slayer that is available on Amazon Prime right now if you want to watch it.
that one.
Anyways, no. I'll
All
tell
business.
you that this will surprise you. He has asked many times, and I've always said it
no.
doesn't matter to me. So
No.
yeah,
You
I've always been like,
Well,
I
what
don't
if
really care.
what if he really wants to be married, and you're breaking his heart?
I don't think I am, honestly, because we act as a married couple, so I don't think that I am, and he's fine with it, and I'm fine with it.
Under California
law,
We're
your
like an
ears at
old
home?
married couple, and under
They should-
California
they
law,
should.
we are like,
You are married.
yeah, under California law,
You just,
we're like we're
you just
married.
have the piece of paper.
We own a 30-pound tortoise together, so that basically says
Oh,
it
well,
all.
that's more married than married.
Yeah, it is. If you're spending all day picking up tortoise poop every day together, I'm telling you, it's like being married.
It is.
It's like being married. So, anyways, this is the funny thing.
Do you
that
wear your kitty cat ears while you're picking up the tortoise poop?
I do.
He likes it.
I do, yeah. For him only, not for the tortoise.
Just for the tortoise.
Yeah. This is the funny thing, Mark, that was so surprising is we were talking about you coming on the show, and I go home and I randomly turn on Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I've never seen it before. The same day. It was the weirdest thing. And
Isn't that
there you
wild?
are as the coach throughout the whole thing. I've never seen the movie or the series.
Is that
So-
method acting, or
Really?
did you have to start walking around with the whistle around your neck and start doing
No,
push-ups?
Josh Whedon wrote that, and Fran Kazooie directed it. And she called me, and I think it was a Fox movie, and our show,
Yeah.
Studs, was at Fox at the time. And I think we had just finished it, or we were still doing it. And she said, "We have a role for you. It's not written, but we'd like to have you in the movie." So I came in there, and I figured I don't know anything about basketball, so I figured I would just be kind of like a California kind of coach. And if you look at the clipboard that I'm holding, there's like the third eye and all the stuff that's on the back of the dollar bill, the infinity sign. And he's like a real kumbaya coach, and who gets walked over by his players. Who the Ben Affleck is one of my players.
Oh, really?
The cast in that movie is phenomenal.
Who else was in there? Because also, who won the Academy Award for chopping your hair off and looking like a boy?
Shirley
Hillary
Stone?
Swank is in there.
That's it.
Hillary
Hillary
Swank.
Swank.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hillary Swank is one of the
Christy
gals.
Swanson, Hillary Swank, Donald Sutherland, Paul Rubens is hilarious in it. There's a scene in the movie where Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, dies in the movie, and the first take he did was like 4 minutes long, and it was hilarious. And
He
then
died
they
for
that
4
was great. Can you do it a little shorter? And even still in the movie, the scene is really very long.
No.
It's a weird. It could have been scarier. I think if it had been scarier, it would have been funnier. And Luke Perry, really sweet man. Was
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Well, did
Yeah.
you know at the time when you were shooting this that it was going to be the cult classic that it is today?
Yeah, it was on the call sheet every morning. This
Oh,
will be a
it's-
cult classic, so act well.
Ah.
No, you never know. You never know what works and what doesn't. I think you were talking before we went on the air about Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
When that first started, people didn't know that it was going to be a cult classic, but it really took off. And I did an episode of that as well. And they were the most. I've done a lot of sitcoms. That was the best sitcom I've ever done because all the main 4 actors never left the set. Even when they weren't in a scene, they were watching the other people and giving notes and giving them ideas. And I came out of Second City, which is a improv group based in Chicago. And it's all about group, you're improvising as a group, and the team is stronger than any one individual. And it was the same kind of vibe. And it's kind of the same thing that Larry does on Curb. That's all improvised, and you have to listen and be a team player to make it all work. And most sitcoms, as are not like that.
I always felt that Jerry Seinfeld was almost like the weakest link on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As an actor,
Yeah.
absolutely. Sure.
Yeah.
But he and Larry were the first guys there every day and the last guys to leave, constantly writing and rewriting and crafting every scene. In comedy, I think comedy is like music. A good comedy scene has a rhythm to it and a pace and an ending. And they were very, very careful in making sure that every scene had a bop, bop, bop. It's even if you don't understand English, you could tell that it's funny.
Yeah, it was
You know what I mean? Just from the sound.
What was the boom, 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 boom?
Oh yeah, at the beginning. At the beginning, I didn't know that you're in Second City too. I had just seen a documentary with Chris Farley. Explain your experiences in Second Cities for those of us that are watching it who don't know anything about it.
It was a group of players from the University of Chicago in the early 60s who didn't want to do plays, they wanted to do comedy. And Chicago is unlike LA, Chicago is a very civic-minded political city. So people are aware of who the mayor is and what's going on in the world and everything, right? So they started doing these shows where 4, 5, 6, 7 people in a cast would get together, and it started out as improvised shows. They'd come on stage and go, all right, we're going to take you now. You've all heard about the bus strike. So we now take you to the bus station at midnight at the change of the shifts. And then the audience would give them some suggestions, and then they would make up a scene on stage. And if it was good, they would do it again the next day and refine it, and eventually turn it into a written sketch that would go in the front part of the show.
Pure improv.
And it started out that way. And then as it is now and as it quickly evolved to, the shows are 3 acts. The first 2 acts are scripted scenes that began as improvised scenes. And then they take a break. They take a bunch of suggestions from the audience. And then for the 3rd act, they come out and they improvise all these scenes. And the ones that do really well, that are timely and do well, they'll sort of save. And then the next night they'll try it again. And if they keep working, think of it like a piece of comedy clay.
Yeah.
And you eventually get all the fat out of it till it's a done piece, and then you move it to the front part of the show. And it's excellent training. A lot of writers, a lot of actors, a lot of directors come out of Second City because it kind of teaches you to see the whole field as far as acting goes. And there are a lot of us from Chicago out here now working. Jeff Garland, Nia Vardalos, Ian Gomez, Kate Flannery, Susie Nakamura. There's lots of successful people working in Hollywood Steve Carell, Steve Colbert.
Oh, wow.
Colbert
and Carell used to be in the same cast at Second City. And when I would go and watch them, you couldn't take your eyes off them. They were always doing something hilarious, little or big, in their scene. They just made everything better. And it's a great discipline. It was kind of like my graduate school, really.
We have more people. Is this Yenny Alvarez DeCarlo? Good morning, OMG. It's so early.
Who's
could
that?
Be? And she says hi to you.
Hello, Yenny. Buenos dias. Why don't you make Mark some Cuban coffee?
I believe she's awake.
She's in the next room. She's in the
OMG,
building. She's in the
so
house. She's in the next room.
In her pajamas.
And if she's awake,
fluffy
I
slippers.
made my own coffee and it was horrible.
I know.
Oh, no.
You need
she's
that.
laughing at you. She said, ha, 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 ha.
That'll teach you.
And then
That's
John,
one of the benefits of actually putting a ring on a Cuban girl, because then you get delicious coffee. Or actually, her dad makes great coffee too.
No, because
She
she
says,
just
"Make
said
me
to
coffee."
you, make me coffee, exclamation point.
All right, Yenny,
exclamation
you
point.
asked for it. He's going to make you coffee.
I can do it, but it won't be good. So whatever.
Oh,
She-
no.
Make him a cafecito. You know, a little coffee.
Oh, porquito, cafecito.
Cafecito.
See.
Yeah.
And
Are
then,
you Cuban, Al?
I am
You're
not.
Cuban.
I'm from Los Angeles, which means I'm Mexican. See, if whoever speaks Spanish, if you're from California, you're all Mexicans. It doesn't matter if you're from Guatemala or from Chile, or I even ask Yenny, who's Cuban. As soon as Yenny moved from Miami to California, she became a Mexican. If you go to
Yes.
Miami, everybody's Cuban.
really?
Literally.
Yes. In New York, everybody's Puerto Rican or from the Dominican.
Is the proper
Dominican.
term Hispanic, though? 'Cause I always say
Well, I hear,
Hispanic.
the new word is I hear Latinx. I'm like, when did this happen? Latinx?
It sounds like a robot, Latinx. I think it's dehumanizing.
I don't even know who
People are
came
from
up
where
with the
they're
word.
from.
I
Why
have
do
no.
you need to? Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is X for?
I don't
Lots
know.
of-
I
lots
think
of
they said for
Latin?
the Latinas. I think for the Latinas felt left out.
It's
or something.
Latina and Latino. Instead of genderizing it, they just say Latinx, which I think is ridiculous.
I think it
You know,
sounds
you're
something that was invented by some white people.
a
I've
robot.
never heard that the entire time. And then Johnny, thank you, Johnny. We seem to still be stuck on this topic.
Which
Same
one?
way, my single mom is not married. Is what he said. So well, maybe your mom is older than me or something. I'm not sure. Yenny says it's inclusive. Okay, so what she says is Latinx incorporates everybody. So if you are from any type of South American, Central American, or
the
Mexico,
motherland,
or what have you,
España.
it makes sense.
España.
It
España.
makes sense. Yenny,
Joder.
Yenny, what do you think of Mark being on this morning, and what did you think of him when you saw him at the airport? What did you think of him, and what did you think about his approach?
She said, "My God."
What did you think about his approach of switching seats on the plane?
Very clever, huh?
That was pretty cool.
There's what
huh?
she thought about it.
What?
Right there.
What? Oh,
That's what
got
she
the
thought
ring.
about it.
That's right. That's right. She also says Latinx is gender inclusive. That's awesome. That's really, really awesome.
No me gusta.
What was your first opinion? Was he a gentleman? Yenny, what was your first
Of course he
opinion
was a
upon
gentleman.
seeing him?
He was gonna.
I like
He was
hearing
gonna
both
bag a
sides.
babe.
I like hearing
Bag a
both
babe.
sides.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
I can be a gentleman when I absolutely have to.
Yeah, that's right. Use a tissue to wipe your mouth, not the sleeve. Right?
Exactly.
Uh,
I can fake class when necessary.
Class.
yeah,
I can
class.
fake it.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
from
yeah.
Chicago.
Oh, that's right. So you're originally from Chicago. When did you come out here? Because you were doing studs in Los Angeles.
Of course.
Yeah, I graduated from UCLA
Oh, awesome.
with no money. I went on a game show and I became the all-time winner of Sale of the Century with
No
the
way.
dearly departed Jim Perry. So I had a bunch of money and I just started. I told my parents I'm going to give myself 2 years to get my showbiz career going, and I started doing comedy and I started my own improv group. And then Second City came out here, and I was one of the founders of the Second City Theater here with Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood and Andy Dick and Megan Kavanaugh and Andrea Martin, one of my comedy idols, Rich Kind. We had a theater on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, which is now a shoe store, which is very depressing.
I
Oh.
And then just started commercials and TV, and then got the.
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
He should have.
It was obvious. I said, do you see that girl back there? She
Yeah,
wants
that's-
to sit up here. But even if from an aisle seat to a middle seat, then I could see where he might, where I'd be, if you go from a middle seat to an aisle seat, come on.
But do you
Come on.
like the aisle or the window seat better? So you
Doesn't
have
matter. It's romance.
No, I know.
Oh,
Put
I
'em
like
on the wing.
the aisle seat because you're free to walk around.
So you can go to the
and,
bathroom and come back. You don't bug everybody.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly.
I
Typically,
I actually
I
gave
always
up my
like that.
seat one time. There was they kept
Mark,
talking
when he was trying to
No,
talk to
not to
some girl?
Mark. He doesn't do this every week.
Are you sure?
He's on a
as
different
far
plane.
as you know.
Well, I'm trying to help you. You just be burying yourself, buddy.
So then, Yenny, when did you find out that? When did you think that Mark was the one? How long before you figured? And did you drop hints, or was it his idea all along? I'm curious. So she's going to get back to us while she's she's waiting for the coffee, Mark. You got to go get it for her.
In the meantime, I want to know when you made your transition into the animated world.
Gosh,
into
because you've done
voiceovers.
so much. Yeah, as you're talking, let me show them Rugrats, the complete series, because you guys, you've done so much in voiceover.
You found Rugrats is for sale on Amazon?
Yes,
Of course it
is.
is.
Actually, the complete series, we're looking at it now. This is the collector's edition. It's available on DVD right here on Amazon. And Mark is a big part of this. So tell us about your voiceover work.
It's called Segway.
I was doing improv here in LA, and we had regular gigs at several clubs around town. And some producer came in and thought we were funny, and we did like a little pilot with him. And then that guy, a few years later, was working with Steve Odenkirk on a show that became Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, and they called me in to read for the dad. And he explained to me that the whole show is about this genius kid who makes rockets and does all these crazy things. So I thought it would be funny if the dad was an idiot. The genius's dad was just an idiot. So I made Hugh Neutron stutter and sound very strange and weird. And they hired me for that. And we did the Jimmy Neutron movie and the TV series. And I did Barnyard. I've done a lot of cartoons. I love cartoons. You can be anybody who you want to be in cartoons.
You got to get me a gig on a cartoon.
600-pound woman if I wanted to in cartoons.
How would you do a 600-pound woman?
Now he's putting you on the spot.
Depends on who she is, Al.
I would do.
She
I would
wouldn't
hire
sound
my friend Megan
labored.
Kavanaugh to do the 600-pound woman.
It's hot in here.
And then, man, two and a half years ago now, I got hired to write my first animated feature. It's called Pinocchio and the Water of Life. It comes out in March, and it's a feature-length animated adventure comedy film. Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob, plays Pinocchio. I play his sidekick Coot. We've got like the A-list of animation actors in the world in this movie. Fred Tatasciore plays the bad guy. Emmy winners Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche from Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, I love
That's
those
in our
guys.
Movie. Susie Nakamura is in it. I'm sure I'm leaving people out. Phil Lamar is in it.
Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar plays a bear. Riker Lynch from the rock band R5. Really, really great cast. Candy Milo, who does a ton of cartoons. And it's kind of like a reboot of Pinocchio, but not the Pinocchio that you know. It's done by a director out of Moscow, and it's got a really weird
Moscow.
look to it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's and with all the things that are going on in entertainment right now, with these virtual influencers and things, animation I think is the next big thing that's happening. Because
From
of the
your lips to
confluence of
God's ears.
technology. Yeah, right. Well, it's the technology too. You know,
Yeah.
what we do on the Bafo the Bear YouTube channel was not possible 2 years
2 years ago.
And what we do in the studio with the full-on Bafo show, we're the only company in the world that can do it because of this proprietary technology, and that's going to eventually spread out, and more people are going to be doing it, and you won't know what's real and what isn't. I mean, right now, when you watch an Avengers movie,
Yeah.
it's essentially a cartoon. It's all, unless it's two humans talking in a room, there's animation in the frame that you
How
don't
dare
even
you.
realize because it looks so real.
How dare you?
Absolutely. Johnny Kong was saying that he saw Jimmy Neutron and they liked it. And then Johnny Kong says, thank you so much for putting this in here. Jimmy Neutron is an 11-year-old boy genius. He lives in Retroville with his parents, Judy and Hugh, and his robot dog, Goddard. Jimmy's friends are overweight Carl Weezer and hyperactive Sheen Estevez. And as he has a long-standing rivalry with his intelligent classmate, Cindy Vortex, who teases him for his small stature. Thank you so much. What I'm showing everybody,
Wait,
and I guess
one of your viewers typed that in?
Yeah.
just
we
now.
have very knowledgeable viewers.
Thank you so much. And they said that they've
They're so
seen
helpful.
this. And then the chat went up, but somebody else also liked this movie. And what I'm showing them, Mark, because they're responding to this, is Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius that you can find here on Amazon Prime Video, so you can rent it, a DVD. It's available on VHS.
Oh, my God.
Wow. So
It was nominated for Best Animated Feature in 2002, I think.
Was it
So yeah,
really?
VHS. Yeah, we lost out to Shrek, which
Oh, well, I
get
that's
that.
a, that's
Shrek
a,
Well,
hilarious.
Shrek, you know.
yeah, that's
Shrek was
a
hilarious.
tough thing. You've done so much animation. Like you said, I heard that it's really hard to get into that circle to do voiceover. Is that true?
Yes, because unlike most of show business, you actually have to have a talent to do it.
Oh, ouch.
Well, no, I'm not talking about myself, but sometimes beautiful people can get cast in things and they have great careers. But
Nepotism in Hollywood? Never.
I know you can't see the people in animation, and because you can't see them, they could be 90 years old, and if they still sound okay, they don't age out of. If you're a 20-year-old girl, when you're 40, you're not playing the 20-year-old girl parts anymore. But if you're
God
a
forbid.
40-year-old actress, you can play a 5-year-old girl. You can play a 5-year-old boy. There's a lot more, there's a lot more leeway in what you can do as an animated character. And in general, in my experience, the people that do animation are supremely talented. Take Rob Paulson, Emmy winner for Pinky and the Brain,
Yeah.
Animaniacs, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Every voice he does sounds completely different. You'd never know it was the same guy, and he's funny on top of it.
Yeah.
And it's a very different skill set, but the skills run really, really deep. And you can be until you stop breathing, you can keep working. So there's not a lot of room for new people, although that's changing too. Everything's changing. There's always new people coming in.
And in essence, you're acting. I mean, even though you're doing a cartoon, you're actually acting.
Totally acting. Yeah. The way we do Neutron, the way we did the Pinocchio movie, I think the best way to do the animation is you get everybody in one room. Everyone's in a little glass booth so that you can see each other, and then you read the scene like a radio play, and you're able to react off of other people. Sometimes when people do, like Brad Bird, who does The Incredibles and big movies, he never reads the whole cast together. The actor always reads with Brad, and he feeds you the setup, and then you say the lines, and you do it 5 or 6 times. Then he gets that line, then he moves on to the next one and next one. So there's different methods of doing it. But I think because of my Second City background, I prefer the big group, everyone talking at once kind of a thing, because you get a little more. For comedy, I think it's better.
To have that energy.
More energy.
You don't see that too often where the whole cast is all assembled together. Usually they're alone in the booth.
It's more expensive to do it that way, and it's more difficult to book because everyone has to be available that day to do it. But I think the results are better, in my opinion, for comedy at least.
You had mentioned comedic actors. You had just said Tom Kenny. Do you know? I think he's a tremendous stand-up. I remember seeing him in Dallas and following his career.
He was in Dallas?
Yeah, I actually drove
toured,
to
yeah.
see. I drove to see Tom Kenny because he was one of the funniest comedians for stand-up.
He was in Dallas, the city. I thought you meant he was in Dallas, the television show.
Oh, no. I actually drove to the city, Dallas.
All right,
to
JR, see?
Yeah.
See?
I drove.
JR.
Tom Kenny.
You killed him.
Tom Kenny looks like when he does the thing with his glasses and everything. He looks like a cartoon character from
does.
the Warner Brothers.
He's got this long head,
It's just
crazy hair.
amazing guy. But did you ever do a stand-up as well? Because I know you did improv, but did you also do?
I did, yeah. I did. I was not. I'm better at improv. I was never really a great stand-up. I'm more of a reactor than a joke teller. But yeah, Tom was great. There's a lot of great. Let's see. Yeah, Tom is probably the most accomplished stand-up of the voice actors that I know. Plus, he's a musician. He's got a great band. Tom Kenny and the High Seas. They
I never knew that.
I didn't know either. Where?
R&B. Oh yeah, they play all over town. They're really.
I gotta
He's got
check
like
him out.
4
What does he play?
saxes. He sings.
Oh, he
I don't
sings.
think he plays anything. Maybe he plays guitar.
Okay.
But really
We'll have
great,
to check
like a
him out.
9-piece band. They're great. R&B, rock and roll, rockabilly, stuff like that. He's a super talented guy, super funny, and another guy with a million voices. You'd hear 10 voices, and never in a million years would you think that they were all coming out of one guy's mouth. He's probably, I don't know if he's the closest guy right now to Mel Blanc, but he's certainly in
Wow.
that conversation.
Billy West?
Which
Is he kind of like the Mel
Billy
Blanc?
West is another one that's Mel Blanc-ish. Robbie Paulson. I mean, back in the day, think about this. All the Warner Brothers classic cartoons, which I'm sure are available for purchase or rent on Amazon,
Oh yeah, everything's available here.
were voiced by one guy.
I know.
Mel Blanc did every character.
Elmer
Every
Fudd.
single one.
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
Daffy,
Rooster.
Tweety,
If-
Foghorn
Oh, Pepe
Leghorn,
Le Pew.
all of them. Pepe Le Pew, all of them. One guy. And each one is different and hilarious. I have a theory that the Warner Brothers cartoons established a sense of humor for several generations of people. I mean,
yeah.
right? I grew up watching them on Saturday mornings, and you learn they made as shorts before you do it all on your computer, and they would mark it with a grease pencil again. So they're making all these brilliant to watch those cartoons,
It was single cell animation at the time too, wasn't it? All
all
hand drawn
hand
at that
painted.
time.
It's night and day. You know, we do it instantly. One of that reads my face, not only the face, but it reads it in 3D. So it knows that this part of my face is further back than my nose. So as I move, the muscles in the character's face move the same way, all instantaneously. So you get, and the eye, you just look at it, and he looks like he's a live cartoon character, not like a dead-eyed robot.
Is one of the first ones that did that a long time ago. Remember Max Headroom? Was it in the late 80s and the early 90s? That was when they had a character, and instantaneously they were able to,
That wasn't instantaneous.
Oh, it
That was
wasn't?
Nope, they would shoot Matt Frewer was the guy that did that. Very, very funny dude. They would shoot his face, then they would animate on top of it, and they would edit it.
Oh.
So they would do that stuff. He would do some of it live, but they would also edit it, and it would take, a week or so, and then they would show it. But it certainly was the precursor to what we're seeing today. Actually, the guy, Steve Odenkirk, the guy that created Jimmy Neutron and produced the movie and the series, he had a special for NBC like late 90s where he was using motion capture animation. And he had a scene with him driving a talking skeleton around in a car.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
And the skeleton was talking and acting and had a personality, and it was groundbreaking at the time. Even though I'm sure if you go back and look at it now, it doesn't look, like if you go back and look at the first Star Wars, before they fixed it, some of the effects didn't look spectacular.
Right.
But they were mind-blowing at the time.
Absolutely. Is that any relation to Bob Odenkirk, Stephen Odenkirk?
No, spelled differently. Steve is Odekirk, O-E-D-E, and Bob Odenkirk, there's an N in there.
Oh, got it.
But there's another Second City guy.
Yeah, there you go. I want to know about your book. Why don't you tell us about your book?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the name of your book again?
It's called A Fork on the Road, 400 Cities.
And that's a travel book.
It's a travel and a food book. I did a series on the Travel Channel for 5 seasons called Fork on the Road, it was called Taste of America.
Taste of America.
I went to 400 plus cities in America, and we would go to little mom and pop restaurants or coffee shops or
kind of like what Guy Fieri does.
Yeah, although yes, exactly. But funnier.
Well, you're a comedian. He's not. He's a
True.
chef.
Yes. So we would go and we would meet these people and the places that were old. We went to the oldest restaurant in America, which is Napoleon House in New Orleans. We go to all different places and you meet the people that are really passionate about whatever the local food happens to be. So I got to see, I've been to all 50 states, DC, Puerto Rico,
Alaska,
different cities.
Puerto Rico's not a state yet.
True, territory.
Okay. It will be soon.
And if you think about it, history, world history, is food. Because if you couldn't eat where you were, you left and you went somewhere else where you could feed yourself.
I want some linguine and clams. Like, get out of here.
That's another thing. Food comes from a certain place because that's where it is, right?
Yeah.
You get shrimp and the guacamole recipe I have is from the Yucatan because they have citrus, they have the avocado, they have the shrimp, they have all those things locally, and you cook what you have available to you locally. So it really tells the story of history and the migration of people and what's important to them through stomachs.
So this is okay. This is a food memoir then.
Yeah, it's like a road trip. It's a book about road trips. It's a book about food, and it kind of was my reflection of what was going on in the country and all the cool people that I met in my travels. Ironically enough, the first place we shot the pilot in Miami, and I had never. This is before I had met my wife. These three Cuban guys. We did a segment with them and we became friends, and they invited me to their house and we had a big party there. And I'm sitting in a hot tub at like 2:00 in the morning with this guy who was turning 60 that day, Raul Musibe.
Raul.
And I go, so this is a pretty good birthday, huh, Raul? And he goes, yeah, on my 21st birthday, I was sitting in Castro's jail because I was a political prisoner.
Wow.
And it crystallized to me the most American guy that I had met in my travels wasn't even American. He was someone who fought his way out of Cuba, came to America, made a better life for himself, which is really, that's the American story. That's the American dream. And
yeah, we're all immigrants.
Right? And people that don't understand that, and people that bash immigrants and make them the scapegoats of things, it's infuriating. Unless you're a Native American,
yeah,
exactly.
Shut the F up.
One of the great things about
you came from somewhere.
Yeah, one of the great things about living in a city like Los Angeles is that we are exposed to so many different cultures and so many different kinds of food. That's what I love about the city is that you could have spaghetti for breakfast, you could have empanadas for dinner.
Spaghetti for breakfast.
Well, spaghetti for breakfast.
If you're hungover, that works.
Yeah. But your meal can be something different. I mean, you probably hear about other parts of just this country. They have the same thing all the time. We have hamburgers or American food or whatever.
Right.
In our wonderful city, or even in Chicago, you can have a deep dish, and then you can have something from Lithuania. It's great that we are exposed. I think we take it for granted how much great culinary arts we're exposed to.
We do. And I think there's such strength in that diversity. And I think cities, and there are a lot of cities in America that are not that diverse, that are much more homogenous. And I think diversity is better. Take New Orleans, for example.
Yeah.
You've got, arguably the best food city in America, because you've got French, African, Southern, Gulf Coast food, all mixed together for 200 years, right?
Yeah.
So you've got African slaves, African free people, Caribbean, Europeans, Spanish, a lot of Italians down in New Orleans, and all of that comes together where, and it's expressed in food. Gumbo is the perfect metaphor for America and New Orleans, because that's what we are. We're not Sweden or Norway, where everyone's the same and has the same background. we're supposed to be a melting pot. And when we embrace that, I think we're better off. So that's kind of what the book is about. I think it's a kind of a timely read for now, because that's what it's about.
Do you also have recipes that are sandwiched in the book?
Good verb. Yes. A lot of the recipes in the book were never published before. They're
nice.
the secret recipes, coffee recipes, or whatever of certain places that we went. One guy, we actually got the gumbo recipe from the Hotel Monteleone in New Orleans. Another one we did was in Montana called Pitchfork Fondue. This cowboy had a 55-gallon drum of bubbling peanut oil, and he would stick steaks on the tines of a pitchfork, and then he sticks the pitchfork in the oil for like 60 seconds, pulls it out, perfectly cooked steak, not greasy, because the heat sears it immediately. It cooks from the inside out. Was delicious. Who would ever think of doing that?
Nobody.
So now
Cowboys.
you were
Because they had to eat. And what did they have on the prairies? They had cows and they had oil.
Wow. Well, that's what they said, the chicken fried steak too. Coming from the South, they said they had very limited amount of meat, so they would actually batter it, and then it would, extend it. And if they had a lot of, people on the ranch helpers or ranch hands or whatever, they were able to eat that. And then you had a cheap item like bread, so you'd make a roll, a Parker House roll, and so it would extend the food for everybody,
Right.
all the ranch hands on the ranch. So
You know what chitlins are?
Yes,
chitlins?
You know
yes.
what chitlins are? It's the intestines of pigs.
Pigs.
Why would you ever eat that? Because you were hungry and the rich people took all the nice cuts of meat.
Of
So you're
course.
forced, as a poor person, to figure out what do we do with this protein to make it palatable?
Well,
so,
we got a
like
tail.
you said, you fry it, you batter it, you make it
Well,
delicious.
That was very common on the plantations too, because you had the people
Yeah.
in the big house, right, and then you had the people that were working the plantations that were given the scraps, such as collard greens and things that are typically hard, and so they would slow cook them and slow boil them, and they would add lard to make them a little bit more flavorful, and that's really the beginning of soul food, and so a
Yeah.
lot of people embrace soul food for a sociological standpoint, in addition to a culinary standpoint, because it's like they were able to take things that nobody else wanted and to turn them into something that was, full of protein, nutritious.
American
and-
ingenuity.
That's America.
American
That's America.
ingenuity.
People taking that stuff and making the best of it in that situation. And there's stories, those are all the types of stories that I've gathered in the book, not from me telling them, but from the people telling. Miss Joyce down in Charleston was talking about soul food. She made red eye gravy, which is basically grease and fat and a little bit of ham to stretch it to feed a bunch of people. And desperation is the mother of invention. And,
Absolutely.
it's an interesting. We live in a great country. There's problems with it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think when we embrace, it's biology. The more diverse you are, the more healthy you are.
Which
If
was your
everyone has the same DNA,
Yeah.
one virus comes in and it wipes everybody out. You got to be diverse.
Which was your favorite city or most memorable?
Well, I've been going to Jazz Fest in New Orleans since the day of the Rodney King riots, and we go every year. I met my wife there. I think if you're looking for a fun time in America, go to New Orleans. There are gas stations that are Zagat rated in New Orleans.
Really?
Wow.
It's more difficult to find crappy food there than it is to find great food. The music is great. The people are nice. The food is delicious. The coffee is great. Austin's a great city. I think outside of, everyone knows about, I'm biased for Chicago. I love that pizza. There's a lot of different foods in New York.
What's
but,
the pizza place in Austin that everybody goes to?
I don't know. I didn't have pizza there.
There's a famous, I can't think of the name of it right now.
Pizza.
Yes, pizza, believe it or not,
love
the
pizza.
Rivals New York is in Austin.
How dare you?
Texas pizza.
Rivals New York?
Yeah, well, it might. That's becoming a really hip, big city. It's the coolest city in Texas for sure. But I
Well-
would say if I had to spend a week in one city in America, I would go to New Orleans.
Well, now you went to 400 cities. How long did it take you to go to all 400 cities? And because you went to 400, was it hard to remember where you were? Like you're almost like a rock star in a rock band.
Hello, Cleveland.
I mean Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Ah,
What I would do right before it took us 5 years, 100 and something shows, and we did 3 cities per show. Right before I started traveling for this show, my dog Groucho died, who I'd had for 13 years.
Oh.
He's on the cover of the book.
Oh, that's the doggy on the book.
That's a picture I took as I was driving in my
Oh.
convertible. He used to sit in the back of the convertible and make his cheeks go like that.
Oh, is he a Weimaraner?
Yes, he was.
Oh.
And he was a great dog, and he died right before I started traveling. So what I would do every night, I'd get back to the hotel, and this is right on the beginning of social media. I would write a letter to Groucho about what I did that day, like a journal, but I wrote it to my dog, which I thought was kind of weird and funny. So I had, I figured I'm going to be having all these cool experiences. I should write them down because otherwise I would forget them. So when I sat down to write the book, I had contemporaneous notes from the day that I could go back to and refer to, and then I would construct the chapters out of that.
So you knew ahead of time you were going to write a book, or it just kind of came out organically from the memoirs that you had?
Organically, but I've always been a writer, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to have a book that people would want to read because of the television show. And I also had my dad was in the travel business. My mom was a travel writer. I've always loved to travel. So when I got that job, I was very happy to get it. And I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew what was going to happen would be interesting, if I approached it that way. So I wanted Derry to make crappy fruitcake. We get there, and we meet this like 85-year-old monk, and he goes, "You guys are too late. We already made it."
No.
And we've done all this. And my cameraman, the lovable and talented Brian Miller, said, "Oh, Father, are you sure? We really would like to be here." And then he's like, "Oh, okay." So he was just messing with us. This guy, Brother Raphael, was 86 years old at the time, and he was a monk. Before he was a monk, he was a professional baseball player.
No way.
Before that, he taught pilots how to fly in the Navy. Before
Wow.
that, he was a pilot in World War II. Before that, he grew up in a household with 11 siblings.
Oh
And,
my goodness.
what a life.
One of the most interesting guys I've ever met in my life. I grew up I went to Catholic schools for 12 years. Who is this? Who dares call me?
Somebody's at the door. It must be Amazon.
yeah.
It's Amazon.
He was just the most interesting, clever, wonderful guy in the world. And there's a whole chapter on Brother Ray. And then we make the fruitcake, and it's delicious.
No way.
Surprisingly delicious. Yes, it's I think it's called Trappist, Kentucky. It's the Trappist, Kentucky monastery, and they make the best fruitcake I've ever had.
It's
ever.
not a dry piece
And
of cardboard.
Maybe because it's
not
fresh.
gooey, crappy, bleh, overly sweet stuff. It's like a delicious cake or cookie.
It must have been. It
Really?
must be fresh. That must be the before they put in all the preservatives. or
Yeah, but
something.
they ship it, and you can open it up a year later, and somehow they figured out how to make it delicious without loading it up with preservatives and junk.
Oh wow.
Maybe it's like hermetically sealed.
Maybe.
So now, Mark, the wives are both in the queue and they're talking
The
together.
wives.
So Albert's wife Maya says, "I had great food in New Orleans. Never
She
had a
loves
bad
New
meal.
Orleans.
It's the best." Johnny said, "LOL." Gary says, Gary says, "I like fruitcake!" Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Then Yenny says, "Maya!" Exclamation point! And then it's always Amazon. And then Maya says back, "Yenny!" Exclamation point. Are you guys not going to complain about the two significant others that are here? No?
Do you want me to complain about
surprised.
his significant other or my significant other?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
no.
complain
I
about
thought
Maya.
they were complaining.
Oh.
They were complaining about you guys, is what I thought.
Oh yeah, they always complain about us.
You know,
Yeah,
Yenny
but
says,
they're married to
"Maya."
us. They legally.
Yeah, Yenny says, "Maya, come with us to New Orleans."
She
Oh,
loves No, it's not New Orleans. It's
It isn't?
No, that's what it's Nolans.
New Orleans.
Nolans.
New Orleans.
Right?
So Yenny just invited
Yes, they have
you
a
guys.
they have a thing usually it's every spring. It's called Jazz Fest, and it's the best musicians in the country. They come for
Nice.
2 consecutive weekends, 11 o'clock to 7 p.m. every day at these fairgrounds. They get 700,000 people to come
Wow.
in. It's the greatest party in America. Period. I'm sure you've all been to music festivals. The bathrooms are clean. The food
What?
lines are short. You get a delicious lunch sandwich for $4. You get incredible fried chicken from a place called Coop's, which is a dark, crappy little bar on Decatur Street with the best fried
Best
chicken
food, best
in
food.
America.
Wow.
Coop's, right there. People, if you're going to New Orleans, get fried chicken at Coop's and then send me $1 because you'll be so happy.
Ah,
I
So
only
we go every year. Now this year it's in October because of COVID.
Oh, of
So,
course.
Yeah, you and Maya should come, Al. It's
She's already booking.
It's a
She's
super
she's
fun
probably
time.
already booking a flight.
well, Yenny just said
We're already booked.
Nowlands. Yenny goes
Nowlands.
Nowlands. And she
Nowlands.
said it's the
Nowlands.
greatest food city in America.
That's what I hear. I've only been once. I went there for a
think so.
convention, and because of the way I am, I don't stray far from. It's usually the convention, the hotel, and I will eat in the hotel. And Maya was like, "You're
In
going to
New
New Orleans.
Orleans?
You better eat." I'm like, because I don't. I'm kind of a introvert, so I don't like to travel. So she contacted James Dumont, who lives in, and she goes,
Yes.
"Please take him out." And he picked me up from my hotel, and he took me out. He took me to a bunch of listen to some unbelievable music. He goes, "Do you want to eat like posh food, or do you want to eat the regular people food?" I go, "Regular people food." So we went to this beautiful little hole in the wall place that everybody goes to. Got some po' boys. It was great. It was great. I'm glad James.
It's literally
Dumont-
more difficult to get bad food in New Orleans than it is to get good food because the culinary competition is so intense. If you have a restaurant that isn't great, you won't last. Same thing with musicians. You got guys on Frenchman Street and Bourbon Street playing music in a bar with no cover. You walk in, no cover. These musicians are brilliant.
Yeah,
and
they
they're
were
probably
great.
making $25 a night. But if you're not brilliant, you'll get replaced by somebody else who is brilliant. It's a
It's a high bar.
it's a freak of nature. It's a high bar, and because of where it's located geographically, there's a collision of all these different cultures, and it has been for 300 years. So it's in a good way, it's a microcosm of America.
We went we were on Bourbon Street, and we went into a couple different bars and to listen to music, and we just walked in. James knew all the doormen, and they were like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we got it. How you doing? Well, he wasn't from New York. He wasn't going, "Hey, how you doing?" He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then we ended the night having fresh beignets at
Dumont.
Cafe Dumont.
Cafe Dumont is so touristy though. Like everybody knows Cafe Dumont.
But it was good,
Oh,
and it
no,
was
no, no,
late
I
at
know.
night.
I'd rather
Yes,
go to a home.
but it's touristy, absolutely. But it's delicious coffee, and the beignets are great, and it's open 24/7.
Yeah,
Oh.
So
yeah.
I've been there.
Beat that.
I've been there at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning after drinking all night, and it's you sit outside. It's
Hits the
you
spot.
can't go to New Orleans without doing it. You shouldn't anyway.
Well, Johnny just said for New Orleans, he recommends Cat's Meow. Do y'all know? Cat's Meow?
I don't think we went to Cat's Meow. It's a karaoke bar.
It's a karaoke bar.
I'm not karaoke. Do you karaoke?
I'm not going to karaoke in New Orleans.
No.
No, Johnny, no.
he
Don't
also-
just say no to karaoke, Johnny.
He also says New Orleans, on the corner of Bourbon Street and St. Peter Street, is the world famous Cat's Meow bar. Although this year Mardi Gras will be very different, obviously. You can still transport yourself virtually to the French
virtually.
Quarter and hang out with the locals. Well, that's nice.
No,
that's fine.
I don't
It's
like
better than
virtually.
nothing. I think it's fine. Like, if you like Disneyland, you can pick
It's
out
better
all
than
the...
nothing, I guess. But,
Yeah.
you want to be there in person and get the smell, the dumpster funk.
Dumpster funk.
That's what
The
I
lucky
smelled when I was
dog.
there.
You
I was
smelled the
like,
dumpster?
The trash was everywhere. It shocked me.
Oh.
Coming
That's
from...
not
Yeah, I
enticing.
was real surprised. The
It's below
jazz...
sea level.
It's what?
The city is below sea level.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why they have the levees and all
Behind
the
the
issues.
levee.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. The jazz festival that you were talking about, is that the Playboy Jazz Festival that goes on every year that's really famous?
No, that's at the.
It's
No, it's
different.
called the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival. It usually it usually happens right now. Last weekend would have been the first weekend. This weekend, what's today? Thursday?
Mhm.
Check this out, people. You can go to wwoz.org, and what they're doing is they're doing a thing called Jazz Festing in Place, and all day long they're playing back sets from famous performers for the last 50 years on the radio station. You can listen to it on the web, and it's like they can't have it this weekend, so it's a radio version of it. And then in October they're going to have the actual Jazz Fest again, which we will be at, happily eating and drinking and having a good time and seeing our good friends Cowboy Mouth.
Oh, that is
Among other
awesome.
things.
Gina says hello to
Welcome
you.
back, Gina.
Hello, Gina. And we're sitting here with Mark DeCarlo. We're talking about all sorts of interesting things, especially his new book that we
Jean
would like
Boutet.
you guys to see right now. I'm showing it to everybody. This is Fork in the Road. It's
Fork in the
400
Road.
cities and one stomach. You can get this available on Kindle, and it's also available on paperback right here.
For $800. Did you? I looked it up on Amazon this morning. People are selling it for $800, $900.
It
Wow.
was $809.67.
Is it autographed?
Explain that to me.
I have no idea.
I sell autographed copies on my site, markdecarlo.com, but I'm not selling them for $800.
I think you should.
I think you should now that
well-
Amazon's doing it.
Who would pay $800 for a paperback?
It's your
Maybe Yenny.
paperback. They're saving all the money going to 400 cities by just, reading your book. I think that's what it is.
They really are.
Yeah.
If you do want an autographed copy, come to my site. I guarantee you it's less than $800.
Oh, cool. So
Oh,
that's a steal of a
guaranteed.
deal. Steal of a deal.
Guaranteed.
Yenny says, Johnny, exclamation point, Frenchman Street. Go check out John Boot. He is a must-see.
Boutet.
Boutet?
Boutet.
Is that Boutet?
John
I think it's Boutet.
And then Johnny says,
It is
hello,
Boutet.
Gina. Is it Boutet?
It's Boutet, like toupee. Oh my.
He's this Cuban Creole Cuban singer with just this honey voice who's fantastic. Actually, you know what? He's on Jazz Festing in Place tomorrow.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So,
very, very cool.
Yeah.
So we also have a couple more projects that are available on Amazon Prime. It's almost the weekend, you guys. So even if you don't get this on DVD or any other way, you can see this one, and Mark is in it, his voice. This is available on Amazon Prime. This is The Ant Bully. I love these animated full-length feature films. Can you tell us about this one?
Yeah, Nick Cage is the lead in it, and it's a movie about an ant colony under duress. And I play a fly, and a fly in a frog's stomach. My friend Rob Paulson plays a glowworm, and there's a third character in there, and they just keep cutting back to these animals that are stuck in this frog's stomach. It's
How do you prepare for that?
I'm in a stomach.
you listen to Rob Paulson and you try not to laugh. Is how you prepare for that.
I'm sure that's hard.
The same director that did Jimmy Neutron did John Davis did Ant Bully. I think it was Warner Brothers. I don't really recall.
No,
Maybe
DreamWorks,
Fox.
I think.
Is
I
it
think
DreamWorks? Yeah.
it is DreamWorks.
DreamWorks.
Yeah.
DreamWorks.
There's so many great animation houses right now. The Pixar people, the DreamWorks, Illumination. I think it's really the golden age of animated films right now. We're very lucky because of technology. We were talking about Warner Brothers earlier. Everything had to be hand drawn and hand painted. Now you build a world virtually, a virtual reality world like in a video game, and then you can tell the camera where you want it to be. So all these shots where the camera's flying along with the dragon or the dragon's going by the camera,
Yeah.
that's all done obviously in the computer, but it's stuff that people would have never thought of before because it wasn't possible. And now you can, you could put the camera on a speck of dust and fly it anywhere you want. And it really,
It's amazing.
it's visually stunning, especially if you watch it on a big screen. A lot of great animation.
Also, like, for example, in The Mandalorian, they're using these huge, big LCD monitors that are on the side that actually project a backdrop, so you don't have to go to the desert.
You
don't
don't?
have to go to the mountains, that you actually just project it LCD and stand in front of it. And it moves and it changes as people walk. That's what I find fascinating.
Right. You're like on the inside of a cylinder, So like that's the set of The Mandalorian. The actors are in there, right? And the background is being projected on the inside of that cylinder in 360 degrees. And the camera is on a computer grid. So as the camera moves, the computer knows where the camera's moving and it adjusts the background in sync with it. So instead of flying all over the world, you create everything inside that sound studio. And once my partner is one of the guys that designed all those systems.
Oh, wow.
And now we're
That's
using
crazy.
it for, a stupid bear, but you can use it for that high end kind of stuff. And it's changing production in a very fundamental way.
Yeah, a fundamental
Which
way,
is-
but also in a fast way too, because now, sets are going to change. We don't need the big sets to be built anymore.
And it saves money. So
Yeah.
the more money you have, the more you
That's
can
the
do.
key right there. That's what all the Hollywood producers want to hear. It saves money. I'm in. I'm in.
But
Exactly.
also the money,
I'm in.
the money could be put towards more creativity too. So I mean, it's kind of exciting how
Nah.
how it's
Nah.
it's gonna shift. Going back to the ant bully, the funniest thing you just said was it's about an ant colony that is under duress,
Rest.
under distress or duress.
Oh no. Oh no.
There's another project here because today was kind of about kids because we were showing a lot
Kids
of
Day.
Yeah, Kids Day. A lot of items that Albert was able to get for a charity cause for St. Jude's.
Yeah, well, St. Jude's was a charity, but it was stuff that the younger crowd got from the Oscar suites.
Right. So let's
Gifting suites.
So let's show everybody. I want to show them a kids project that you were involved in that I've heard about.
What's
and
that?
It's live action. This is Wizards of Waverly Place. This is the extended version of the movie. You can get it right here on Amazon on DVD. Tell us about this project. This is a neat project from Disney, right?
Disney.
Yeah, it was a Disney TV show with Selena Gomez and a couple of kids, and I played Baby Cupid.
Oh no!
And the way they did it is I believe they took a real baby, dressed him as Cupid, and then shot my mouth, just my mouth, Clutch Cargo style, and then put my mouth onto the baby, so it looked like the baby was talking, and he was, a foul-mouthed, cranky kid, who talked like that, and was Cupid. He was supposed to be Cupid, but he was the most unromantic guy in the world, and then funny things happened.
Oh my gosh. And Rosalinda says hello to us. She says, "Happy Thriller Thursday, Candace, Mark, and Albert."
Thriller.
Happy Thursday. Why is it Thriller?
Yeah, give us a little.
Why is today a Thriller Thursday? Just curious.
Are
Michael
we
Jackson's Thriller?
I know. Exactly.
There it goes. No, you know what
Maybe
it is?
she's thrilled to see Mark.
Oh, maybe she's thrilled to see Mark. Are you thrilled to see Mark this morning?
imagine.
It's funny, Rosalinda, if you were not here earlier, it's funny because Mark and Albert and I were emailing back and forth yesterday talking about what we were going to talk about today. And I said, should we do this, this, this? And Mark writes back, let's just see how it goes. Basically, let's just wing it. Little did I know it was going to be basically a therapy session for
yeah.
Candace and why she's not getting
Married.
married. I had no idea.
I
She must have
hope her
gone
mom's
to-
not
Candace,
watching.
if you're happy not being married, then more power to you.
But you
if-
wanted
you know,
to get married, Mark.
He's a he's a romantic.
Oh, he's a
Yeah,
romantic.
eventually I wanted to get married. I was in the league quite a long time. I think.
The
you
what
know,
league?
I gotta say, put up Hall of Fame numbers.
The
but
dude
after
league.
a while,
The dude league.
the dating league.
Oh, the dating dude league. Yeah.
Here's the truth. I think people are always dating, thinking, oh, especially in LA, I got this, but there might be somebody cuter or better or more wonderful around the corner. Always looking.
The bigger, better
Once
deal.
I met my wife, I realized she could get a much better deal. So I have to lock her up before she figures that out.
No.
So you
gotta
want a girl
seal the
just
deal.
dumb enough to love you.
Just dumb enough that she doesn't know
That's a
yet.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
Dumb- exactly. And by the time she knows, she's got a ring on her finger. There's nothing she can do.
It's timing. Timing is everything, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Is there a large age gap between the two of you guys? Or are you guys close in age?
You have to ask Annie.
Oh, very large gap. I'm 64 years older than her.
64 years older. It's not
4
too
years
bad.
older.
She's young enough to push
it's not
his
bad.
wheelchair around. Where do you want to go, Mark?
That's not too bad.
What?
I've seen worse.
I
I've heard
can't
worse.
hear you. No, not a large age. I'm a little older than her, but not a lot. She's certainly a grown up.
She's dying laughing. Yenny right now has sent, if I can count correctly, 6 smiley face emoticons with the eyes crying. And Johnny says, relationship is not necessary. That's true. David says, Candace, you have a man.
She does.
Yes, a partner. A lot of people don't know what that
Partner.
means. Business partner, LGBTQ, or man. He's a man. Yes,
Last you checked, right?
I beg your pardon?
Last you checked, he was.
Last
a man.
I checked.
He could have
Last I
changed.
checked. Yes, somebody who I've known for a very, very long time, and we are both very old. And so this is how it. When you get to this age, did you feel like you were settling down, anyways? Like you said, you were like a man about town, and you felt like at the time,
A man about
like
town.
you guys have dogs? Do you have kids?
We have a dog. Certainly I settled down, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because there was a long. I waited several years before I settled down, and before I settled down, I was not settled at all. So I had the best of both worlds.
So, but do you get tired of that? Like even all those guys that are playas.
Yeah, eventually you get tired of it, and then you compromise and marry someone.
What was the quality about her that made you compromise?
She's got all her teeth, which is cute. That means she's
Is that
healthy.
necessary these days, though?
Well,
I
yeah, a
don't
girl
know.
with
I think
teeth?
setting the bar kind of
Yeah.
high right off the bat there,
One,
Mark.
two,
I don't
three.
You know
know.
what? She's empathetic. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's very funny. She's creative. She's a great cook. She was always a very good cook, but during this COVID, she's raised it to another level.
Really?
Oh,
Where she can go into the refrigerator and grab 3 random things, and somehow a great meal comes out of it. So I've been very lucky that we've stayed healthy throughout this thing. We didn't have to go out and eat. I think we've had takeout food 10 times, 15 times since this whole thing started.
That's it.
That's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was very wary, especially at the beginning of it, so many people have to touch the food before you eat it if someone's got the sniffles or something. So we stayed, we've been staying home. We went out for the first time last Saturday night. We went to the Sagebrush Cantina here out in Los Angeles.
Oh,
to hear
sure.
A great band called Soul Jukebox play. And it was live music and people, and it was awesome. It was great. So we're just starting to stick our toe out into the world again. But all those things, I had dated girls in the past that would have 1 or 2 attributes, but Yenny is the first one that had
The whole package.
And
the whole package.
And all her teeth too.
And all her teeth,
All of her teeth.
as far as you know.
And right. And she was in the Cuban culture, the women get married very, very young.
Oh, they
By
do.
the time I met her, her expiration date was shot. So her parents were glad to get her.
Oh, boy.
So that was really only to your advantage as well. It was so
It
fun.
was. It's like getting bread a couple days. It's still bread, but
It's a couple days.
You just eat
older.
around
It's
the
on
green. Just
discount.
eat around the green. Don't worry about the rest.
Just cut the green out.
Just eat around it.
Right.
Now-
there's still some good bread in there.
We had that yesterday. We had some bread that
Green bread?
No, we didn't have green bread, but it was going green. I was like, ooh, that, because I love bread, and it was mine was like, oh, it's starting to go green. I was like, eat around it. Just eat around the green.
Well, dip it in egg and then just fry it up as French toast.
There you
Pour
go.
a bunch of syrup on it. You'll be fine. Yenny is now doing 3. We must not be as funny. Mark,
No.
you're not as funny because now you got 3 emoticons that are smiling with the tears from Yenny. And just a
It's
moment
because
ago,
he keeps throwing her under the bus.
you got 6. So
talking about her
now she's-
talking about her teefuses and
Yeah.
then her bad cooking. Oh no, good cooking.
Now she's laughing
cooking.
hysterically, and she went ha 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 with an exclamation point. What I find is so funny is I saw on Jimmy Kimmel the other day, and it's so true. He's like, people are willing to risk themselves because they want to go eat meatloaf at Cracker Barrel, and it's so true. People will go out because they want to eat meatloaf at Cracker Barrel.
Is
go
meatloaf
figure.
good?
There's a certain segment of the population here in America that's fed BS every day through channels that are purposefully peddling lies, and unfortunately, some people believe that stuff, and
Yep.
it's killed people.
Oh, it has.
And-
There's no such thing as COVID.
Yeah, right.
It's all
And, and if you
imagination.
believe that, then you're going to be a victim of Darwinism, and
Yeah.
maybe the world's better off for it.
Everything's
Ignorance
Everything's a conspiracy. Don't drink the
Yeah,
water.
you know.
There's something in the water. There's aliens in the water. DNA, something. What's that? Someone's
Science
at my door.
is true because science works, right? So you have to trust science because it's a fact. And people that are very religious think, oh, God are going to protect. God invented, if God is God, God invented everything. God invented scientists. God gave us brains to critically think and make decisions. And when you abdicate that responsibility, you deserve what you get, is my take on it, you know?
So Mark, let's show your book one more time.
That's pretty heavy for an Amazon show.
Right. Yeah, way to bring us down, Mark. Thanks a lot.
And a counseling session. Hey, I'm telling you, we're getting it all this morning.
Right.
So
I just want an invite to the wedding, Candace. That's all.
Oh, it'll probably be one of those remote Zoom, invites or something like that. But yeah, you're on the list for sure. So this
After
is your
10 years to have a good one.
It's a decade. What sounds more, a decade or 10 years?
A
I can't-
decade.
Which one sounds?
Decade.
Decade sounds. Yeah, a decade. Like the 80s, the 70s. Yeah.
Do you celebrate your anniversary still?
This is the funny thing. We're so old that we've kind of forgotten. So we
What
did at
day is it
times, and then
today?
as we got older, we were just like, you know what? We just forget.
Plus
But
our
I mean,
partner's really
who can,
old.
Who can remember like what we had for breakfast yesterday? Do you know, Mark? What did you have for breakfast yesterday? Do you remember?
Protein shake and coffee.
Do you get it every day? Same thing. That's why you remembered. See,
Ah, well.
what'd you have for lunch yesterday?
For lunch yesterday, I was in the studio. I was at the studio doing Bafo stuff, so I just had I think I just had a protein bar.
Ooh,
You must live off of protein bars.
I guess so.
But you know
No,
what?
I couldn't leave. I'm all tethered up and I couldn't leave the studio, so I just compromised.
Oh,
but I
you
had a
recorded
really
that.
nice steak last night that my friend Chris Haston gave us the cowboy steak recipe, and we cooked that up, and it was quite good.
Nice.
So let's look at the book then, because he's got all the recipes in here.
I guess so. What's with the baseball? Is that some kind of?
I'm in my writing office, and this is my thinking ball.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
I like to,
It's not Wilson.
no, Wilson is
No,
a
I could've-
volleyball.
Yeah, it's a baseball.
I thought maybe it had some kind of significance, like in the 1936 World Series, I got it from.
No, but I do have a World Series ball that Kyle Hendricks signed when
Oh.
the Cubs won the World Series.
Oh,
that.
cool.
My friend Kyle Hendricks put his name on that one.
Nice.
How totally
Now the
cool.
Cubs stink.
So I take it you're a baseball fan?
I'm a baseball fan and I'm a hockey fan. And
Hockey.
those two seasons overlap perfectly. When baseball is boring and getting going, hockey's in the playoffs. And when baseball's in the playoffs, hockey's just getting going. So I have 12 months a year of quality entertainment.
Didn't you used to play in the Celebrity Hockey League?
I still do. Yeah, I play hockey. I'm playing actually very, very soon. As soon as this is over, I'm going to the rink. But yeah, and we're doing the WHL, which was like an upstart league back in the 70s. It's the 50th anniversary, so we're doing a big weekend event in Las Vegas in September of 22, and there's going to be a celebrity game for that.
Hockey in Las
So I'm
Vegas.
helping
That
to organize
sounds.
that.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's look really quick. This is your book, Fork on the Road, 400 Cities, One Stomach. You can get it here on Amazon. So you guys get this book, have him autograph it. It's only $800.
Only
Kindle
$800.
And paperback edition right here.
How much is it on my site?
So
I think it's like 10 or 15 bucks on my site autographed. It's
So
Mark
you
DeCarlo.
save
Wow.
about $700.
It's
That's a
savings.
pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal. I don't know if it beats the Amazon deal of the day, but it's a pretty good deal. So,
And on that note,
Mark, we want to know if people want to be able to see you on your social media, follow your career, see these great projects that you're going to be in, order your book, and all that kind of good stuff. How would they do so?
You can follow me on social media. I'm Mark DeCarlo on Twitter and Facebook, and Mark DeCarlo TV on Instagram. And you can see Bafo the Bear on the Bafo the Bear YouTube channel and Bafo the Bear Facebook. And it's Bafo the Bear on Twitter, Instagram, and the other one, Facebook. That's the thing I'm doing right now that's really fun. I'm also, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary. I'm the comedy correspondent for an ABC show in Chicago, the morning show called Windy City Live.
Oh,
And
cool.
Monday is our 10th anniversary, so I'll be on that show out of Chicago with Ryan Cheverini and Val Warner. So that's that's a fun gig. But
sweet.
Huh?
I said, sweet.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Sweet, yeah. So that's it. Just Mark DeCarlo or Mark DeCarlo TV and Boffo the Bear, all one word on YouTube.
Great.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, also, a friend of mine does this psychic show, Psychic Ray LA, and Dr. Lars Dingman. They do a psychic podcast that's hilarious and super excellent, funny. He helped me find a watch that I had lost for 15 years.
What?
And this guy's named Psychic Ray LA, and his partner is Dr. Lars Dingman, the iTunes psychic. And I had lost my watch 15 years ago, and Psychic Ray said, it's in your mom's closet up on the right-hand side under a book. I went into her closet under a book. There's my watch.
Because he probably
No
stole
way.
it 15 years ago.
No, and you gave him no
so
indicators.
I
You
gave
gave
him
him
nothing,
no
no.
indicators.
That's a topic for
And
another day.
Yeah, their show is it's called iTunes Psychic on Facebook and YouTube.
All right, we're getting the
that's my favorite show right now.
time to
Yeah,
go.
So you guys,
I got to go skate.
Go skate.
awesome, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us today. I had such a wonderful therapy session with you. I think it's really meat to chew on for me. So I look forward
Yes.
to doing that again. All joking aside, you know what? I